This is I'm Friends with the DJ, hosted by AJ the Silver Fox.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of I'm Friends with the DJ. It's me, your host, AJ the Silver Fox, and with me today is a very good friend of mine coming off of a high from playing for his first time ever in a different city. I, of course, am talking about my friend Shelby, aka Brian Kadir. Hey there, how's it going?
Hi. Actually, I do want to correct you. It's
Yes,
not the
please.
first time I've
Okay,
played outside of San Antonio. First time
where?
playing at Bauhaus,
Excellent. And that was the
Houston.
one thing I was going to ask. So, where have you played then?
I've played in San Marcos before, and then in Austin as well, which both of
Oh,
those are in
amazing.
Texas. But
Right.
yeah,
Well, hey, you're hitting every major city, and that's what really counts, right?
yes, yeah. No,
Awesome.
this one was for me it was a bigger deal than the other two. Not that the other two weren't, but this one was a little bit bigger.
Okay, so the other two that you played in, and
Mm-hmm.
was it like an open format that you did, or was it like EDM forward, or what were those like?
No, there was still like my style of music, which is like house and techno, but there were more like guest appearances like during someone else's DJ set. So it wasn't like my full set. Um, so it was just slightly different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Bauhaus was so amazing. I saw the pictures and the videos, and that fucking screen behind you was epic. Like, how did you feel standing in front of that? Like, tell me, like, I mean, tell me
Um,
about it.
honestly, I was I remember walking in and seeing it for the first time and I was just like, holy shit. Like it was this massive screen behind us that was just super crystal clear with our logos on it. Um, and it was cool because they put everybody's logos and they gave everybody, like all the DJs, a different identity as far as like the visuals that we all had. So most times, some places might just kind of loop visuals and let those run all night. But for this specific event, they had our individual logo and they kind of gave everyone its own identity as far as like the color scheme that they added to the screen while we were playing, and then just the visuals that were playing at the same time. So they were different for everybody. So it was really cool to see that.
I
But
did notice that in the different
mhm.
videos that it did have that differences. Now, did they pick that for you, or did you have any like control over that?
No, they picked it for us, but I think they did a great job, honestly. But back to your, I guess your original question, how did I feel? Honestly, at one point while I was playing, I had to like take a step back and look behind me at the big screen. Just obviously we can't see it because it's just behind us the whole time. But I wanted to admire it too while I was playing because I saw it when Astra was playing and I saw while, LV82 was playing, but I wanted to see it while I was playing. So I remember at one point just taking a step back and looking behind me and seeing my name up there and then turning and seeing all the people that were there. And just, it was really cool. It was, I don't even know if cool is the right word to use. I mean, I could use all sorts of words to describe it, but it was different. It was a different feeling for sure.
That, I mean, I felt something, and that was just me looking at it on the screen. It really, I mean, one, that venue is just phenomenal. It really is iconic, and I've the friends that I've seen play there. I mean, they play really hard EDM music. So, but that's where you were. That was outside, or what area was that? I don't think I've seen that area before.
Yeah, so they have technically, I guess you could say, three different stages or um, places that you could play, which is the initial like lounge area when you first walk in, and then they also have the patio, which is where we were located. But it's really nice out there. They have like turf to just make it feel more comfortable. The stage is elevated with the big screen behind it. They have massive disco ball in the middle, and they had other like plants hanging from, um, I guess from the gazebo type thing that they built up on top. Uh, and yeah, and it overlooks the Houston skyline too, which is super cool because we played from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. So of course you just had the night sky lighting up along with the buildings and the perfect weather. And then they also have their main room, which is on their second floor, which I got to tour and look at, which that's the main area that they use for like all the big DJs that they bring in.
And we just kind of like jumped into it. So the listeners might be a little bit confused. Can you tell us what exactly this event was? Go ahead and remind people, or just go ahead and tell us, what was it that you were doing over there in Houston?
So I think you've talked about our event before, Sundown Social, which we host here in San Antonio weekly at River North Ice House. But we had the opportunity to take that on the road this last Sunday, while still hosting our event here in San Antonio. But we played at Bauhaus, Houston, which is the biggest house and techno venue that Houston has. We played on a Sunday. The day prior, on a Saturday, one of my favorite techno DJs, Marie Bont, actually played there. So I've actually had many other DJs that I listen to and that I try to emulate for my own style that have gone through that venue. So it was really cool. But yeah, we had the chance to take it to this venue called Bauhaus. And, if you're in the scene, if you know anything about like, house music in Texas or maybe even in general, you recognize the name for sure. So for us, it was a big deal to have that opportunity, and not just as individuals that played there, but as a whole, like everyone that's part of the team can say like, hey, like my team got the opportunity to play there. And it might not be the first time or the only time that we do it. So
I mean, who knows? The sky's the limit at this point. But the fact that you could say that you've been there and got to experience that energy, being up on stage, behind the decks, doing all that, that's very, very awesome. And I'm really, really excited for you that you got to do that. So tell me, okay, what's the difference between like the people and the vibes between the one in Houston and here in San Antonio or in San Marcos or Austin? Like, go over that with me, please.
I guess as far as like the vibes, I guess specifically for Sundays for Houston, they host something every Sunday at that venue. But for Sundays, they're used to the DJ just kind of being like background noise. Like they're not throwing on a show. Yes, they're playing house music. Yes, they're having a good time, but everyone's going there to kind of just still be able to have conversation like this, while enjoying a little bit of house music, something a little more on the easy side. As far as our event in San Antonio, we host our own event as well here in San Antonio. But people that come and see us weekly, they know the style of music we play, which is a little more upbeat. We want you to dance. We want like you to throw your hands up in the sky, like, jumping around. Like that's the type of energy that all of our DJs bring every Sunday. So to bring that from San Antonio to Houston, for their Sunday, it was cool to hear the staff say, some of our regulars that come every Sunday and they just sit and talk and really just hang out. But to see them jumping around, singing these songs, having a totally different vibe as to what we're used to seeing on Sunday, that was cool to hear. It was cool to hear that we made a difference in the environment and the vibe that they usually have. Because honestly, that's my goal every time I play personally. Like, I want people to have a good time. I want to see people singing the songs that I'm playing, dancing to the music that I'm playing, and just having a good time because I'm having a great time myself. So I want them to feel the same way.
That is one thing that I definitely have noticed about you. You definitely bring the energy when you're up on stage, and you get us all excited to kind of dance with you because you're dancing up there yourself. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that definitely is your vibe and the energy that you bring to it. These so do you have like set places that you are always playing at, or do you have a residency anywhere?
So I have a handful of residencies in San Antonio. One of them being Pink Shark, which is downtown San Antonio. Another one being Be Kind and Rewind, which is also downtown San Antonio. Um, I do play occasionally outside of Sundown Social at River North Ice House, which is where we host Sundown Social. And then I have another residency on the north side of San Antonio called Pix Bar. Um, and then I also have a residency at a country bar. Um, so I love the way my schedule is set up because I'm gonna play something different every day. And I'm playing to a totally different crowd every single time. So it challenges me to, really play something different for everybody because I can't play the same set at every bar.
Exactly.
I can't play a country set at Be Kind or Wine that's more of like an 80s and 90s style bar. And, I'm not going to play house and techno at the country bar that I usually play at Sundown Social. So, yeah, I have a handful of residencies. And it really pushes me and challenges me to constantly play something new, play something different, constantly look for new music, new edits. So it's fun. I mean, I'm always
Yeah.
on my computer, I'm always on my phone, trying to listen to new music, but it's just part of the job.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, and you being able to be so diverse and play these, like, read the room and play off of the vibes of the people, what do you have, like, a favorite genre or favorite, like, place that you're playing at that you get to play your favorite genre? Like, tell me about that.
Um, so my favorite genre to play in general is house and techno. That's what made me want to become a DJ. But honestly, I love playing every single genre because I'm technically what you call an open format DJ, which is one of the reasons I have such different and diverse residencies. Um, I always tell people I'm a house and techno DJ by heart, but I'm an open format DJ by necessity. I've gotten to the point where, yeah, DJing is my job, and
Yeah.
it pays well if you're able to be so diverse and so open. Like, it honestly, it's gotten to a point where um, people reach out to me like, "Hey, can you play here?" Okay, you can't. Well, when can you? Like, it's it's a very crazy and weird feeling of being wanted because you're able to play such different things for such different crowds. But even though I love house and techno music, even though that's like my bread and butter as far as like DJing, I love DJing at Be Kind of Rewind. I love DJing at Pink Shark. Even the country bar, I knew nothing about country when they first offered me the gig. But they offered me the gig because they had seen me play at other places and they know that no matter what, I'm consistent and reliable. And again, it pushed me to, really dig into the country scene. Like, okay, what do people like? What's good? What's a line dance? What's two stepping? I didn't know that there were so many different subgenres within country music. Which it makes sense because I could say the same thing about house music. So
I,
so many different
so
types.
give me, for each of those locations, give me a good go-to that people will get up and start dancing. Let's start with Be Kind Rewind, since that one's 80s. So let's start with that one.
Um, so even though Be Kind of Rewind is an 80s and 90s theme bar, they do have two separate rooms.
Okay.
But they like to put me in their second room, which is more known for like hip hop and Latin.
Okay.
So their main room, they have the big video screens and they're showing like all the music videos for all those like 80s and 90s songs that they're
Yeah.
playing. And then the second room, we call it the ratchet room. Like it's my job for, if you want to step away from like all the pop for a minute, come to my room and you're going to shake your ass and you're going to get hot and you're going to get sweaty, but it's going to be super fun. So I don't know if I have a specific go-to,
Okay.
but it's San Antonio, so I love playing like 90s hip hop for them.
Okay.
I guess I'll just branch it under
Yeah.
all of that. So yeah, just 90s hip hop for Be Kind of Rewind for sure.
I love it. So, does it sound weird that I've never heard of this hip hop room? I've only been in the other larger 80s and 90s room. Is that crazy
No,
or no?
because it's like that for everybody. It's kind of hidden. Um, it's not the biggest room, but it does have its own bar back there. So, it gives you the ability to be able to enjoy the second half of their bar without needing to worry like, oh, am I going to be able to get a drink? Or am I going to be able to dance? Like, yes, I will get you dancing. Yes, you can get a drink, but you just kind of have to find it. And once you find it, most people don't end up leaving. So,
Got it. That's so funny. And so, okay, so what about Pink Shark? What would be your go-to for that?
Pink Shark, I'll kind of branch it under like, hey, maybe I don't have a go-to song, but for Pink Shark, it's more of the pop side of things. Any sort of like early 2000s type pop music gets like, it still hits to this day. Um, and it's kind of like one of those TikTok bars, like it's all over TikTok.
Mm,
It's super cute. It is a speakeasy style bar, so they have their regular front room with a bar in it, but in the very back towards the restrooms, there's this wall back there, and it looks like a vending machine. But once you push it open, it opens up to a back room as well, which is where I'm usually at. Um, so yeah, just it's a TikTok bar, so you get all sorts of crowds of people. People celebrating their birthdays, people celebrating getting married, and you're also just going to get that age range of like the fresh 21, 22 year olds to the older tios and tias that want to go out and have a good time. So I'll branch it and say like anything like 2000s related. That's
okay.
just that always hits at Pink Shark.
That was a great music era, I'd say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Black Eyed Peas,
Yeah,
Flow Rider, all that. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And Pix Bar, that's one on the north side, right?
Yes.
So
So
that's a restaurant bar or what is that?
no, it's a bar. But it's really interesting when I play there. So I played there at the same time as a live band. So the breakdown of that bar is I play for an hour at the beginning of the night while the band is setting up and doing their thing, getting all their stuff ready. And then the band plays for an hour and a half, and then I come in for 2 30-minute breaks after they, do their hour and a half sets. Um, and this bar in particular, it's known to have an older crowd. So the average age at Pix Bar is probably like late 30s to like 50-year-olds that just, they just want to go out. They just want to listen to live music. They want to have a good time. So it's my job to keep them dancing. So it is cool to play, all sorts of different songs. And it's like, once again, it's San Antonio. So you are able to play, music in English and music in Spanish. And for the most part, people know it. And if they don't know the lyrics, they still know the music and they're still going to dance because they're there to get fucked up and dance. And I don't know how true it is now, but it technically used to be like a swingers bar. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Where's my drink and straw? What?
Yeah, it
Love
was.
the tea.
Yeah, it has like a reputation. I haven't really seen it. Um, I've seen it at other bars, so I know like what to like look for, but I've heard that it had a reputation as a swingers bar, but
I
I think
mean,
that was when it first opened.
what, like, is everyone carrying around like a pineapple or something? What do you mean you see it? What do
No,
you
I
notice?
think it got that because it's such an older crowd, and
Yeah,
most of these people just want to go out and have a good time, and who knows what
absolutely.
their relationship status is at 40 and 50. Like they're probably ready to venture out and see what happens.
I love it. That as well. That is so crazy. I mean, okay. So let's go ahead and step away from what you're currently doing.
Uh-huh.
Can let's talk about like what led up to this. Like, what, yeah, I remember we spoke briefly and you said you went to your first rave when you were still in high
Yeah.
school, and so that's what got you started. But when did you start? When did you get your first stack, and when did you start spinning? Like tell me about that.
So I think I could relate to most people here and say, or most people out there, and say I got my first deck when COVID hit. Because of course, what else are you gonna do? But actually, the funniest story with that is I bought my first deck and I had it for almost a year without even touching it. Um, I was just, I mean, honestly, I was scared. I was intimidated. I was like, what if I'm not good? Like, I've never not done something and not been good at it. Just don't want to brag, but it's true. Um, but yeah, I mean, of course, I never played any instruments my whole life. I never did anything that had to do with music. So um, I remember just turning it on, finally loading music onto my laptop, and trying to like mix it together. And when you first do it, you don't know how to do it. I didn't have anybody to show me or explain to me like how to do it. So I had to look up YouTube videos. I had to kind of like play around with the software and figure it out myself. Um, yeah, I mean, after time, I just was finally like, okay, let me do it. Let me learn it. I started getting the hang of it. I used to just do it for fun, the all the kickback that you have with your friends, hang out after work, after the pool. And I actually had an acquaintance at that time who later became one of my best friends. He heard me DJing because he was a local DJ himself. Um, at some random house party, he heard me DJing, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good, but like, let me show you a couple things if you want to learn on how to be better." And he was just like, start coming with me to all my gigs. You'll see how it works. You'll see, the bigger picture of things, and you'll start picking up things naturally, which did happen. And um, at that point, this guy that I'm talking about, he had 4 to 5 gigs a week. So by the end of his week, he would just be tired, and sometimes I would be there, and he would be like, you know what, there's 30 minutes left. Hop on, whatever, I'm done. And being put on the spot, like you kind of have to learn. And so at that point, I was still just strictly a house and techno DJ. So he would leave me on a spot where I would be comfortable doing it. But the more I hung out with him and the more places that I would go and see and the more that I would learn, he would start putting me in different and difficult positions where it's like, okay, how are you going to make this work? I'm not going to tell you, you can figure it out. And I did. And that's how I technically became an open format DJ too, just by, you know, forcing myself to learn. And like I said previously, it pays. So at the end of the day, why not just go with it and run with it? But yeah, that's how I started. And I love it. I mean, I love DJing any genre. So I don't care if it's house and techno. And honestly, I don't even care if it's country. It's still fun to me. I did learn to love country. I don't know about love, but enjoy country music. And I do have a couple of songs that I do sing my heart out in the car when no one's around. But we won't talk about that today.
Okay, next time I'll go ahead and ask you that. So, okay, so that, I mean, that's how you started basically.
Mhm.
But at what point did you realize like, oh, like this could be like a regular job and I could actually make some money off of it and I could, are you at a point where you could quit your other, or if you have like a 9 to 5, or is
Uh-huh.
it like when what are how's that?
So I do remember when I like first got my first gig offered to me, and that was just kind of like super surreal. But then I also remember at the point where I only had like 1 gig a month. But it's just one of those things that you just have to keep at it. And, 1 gig a month turned to like one or two, maybe three. And then it kind of turned into like a weekly thing. And I still had my regular job at this point, and I DJ'd like once a week. And it was cool. And then, more and more people start getting to know you, and, you post stuff online that, you're just practicing at home. People listen to you, people offer you another gig. And I'm at the point where I DJ about 5 days a week, 5 to 6 gigs a week. Uh, Sometimes Saturdays, I've had up to 3 gigs in one day where I'm, doing 2 hours here, 3 hours over here, and then I'm finishing off my night at a bar from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Um, but it's just one of those things you have to keep at it. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that have started and have kind of fizzled out because you do kind of hit a point where it gets, I don't, what's the right word to use? I guess you start
Burnt
getting
out,
discouraged.
exhausted. Oh.
Not just that, you start getting discouraged at the beginning if like, because you tell yourself like, okay, this is what I want to do, but you're not getting any bookings. And I'll be honest, towards the beginning of my DJ career, I experienced that. Like I was like, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought, or like no one wants to listen to me. But it's just one of those things. Just like everything, you keep going at it, and the more you put towards it, the more that's going to come out of it. But it wasn't even until like the last 6 months where things kind of started taking off for sure. And yeah, even at the beginning of the year, I had maybe 1 or 2 gigs per week. So, I'll have about 6 a month. But starting around June, July, I started having about 11 or 12. And the last 3 months, I've had 20 plus gigs in a month, which is crazy.
That is a lot. That is quite a bit. And I just kind of want to point out that around that time is when I kind of came into your life. So maybe, I'm a lucky charm or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You might be onto something here. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Let's just take you out of my life and see what happens.
Oh, wow. That quick, huh? Okay, we'll see.
Just for scientific purposes,
Okay, like, perfect. Well, we'll try that. So what do you see like that's coming in the near future? What do or actually like do you plan, like, let's say like 2-3 years, like where do you want to be, or where do you want to see yourself?
I think for as far as like the immediate future, which is anywhere, between 6 months and a year. Honestly, the fact that I got to play at such a big venue like Bauhaus, Houston, has kind of sparked a confidence in me that, not that I didn't have, but you get comfortable being here within the city, and it's like, okay, I have my gigs here. People know who I am. People come to see me specifically to see me. But it gave me that confidence, like some of like I mentioned earlier, some of these DJs that I listen to and that I want to emulate and that I admire, they play there. And I'm able to say that I played there too. So it's kind of sparked something new and a new confidence in me that, like, I could reach out and to some of the connections that I made while I was in Houston. And so I could go back to Houston, maybe not specifically to play at Bauhaus only, but at other bars that do, need DJs, whether it's house music or just an open format DJ. But of course, I want to focus on house and techno. Same thing with Austin. It gives me the confidence to reach out to some of these places that focus on house and techno. And now I can say, like, I've played at Bauhaus Houston. Everyone knows in Texas, as far as if you're in the scene, you know where that place is. Um, and I don't know a lot of people that could say that, and the fact that I can say that um, makes me feel really good and really proud of myself, honestly. Um, so I guess for that's kind of like the immediate future. As far as like 3, 5 years down the road, honestly, I don't know.
How old will you be
But
in about like 4 or 5 years?
oh, like 26,
Oh my God, I can't stand you.
um, but I've had other people ask me before, like, what's your end goal with this, or like, what do you want out of this? I didn't even know what I wanted out of this when I first started. But I've also learned to realize that not knowing what I want out of this is okay. Because there's still so many things that I know I want to do. Like, I've told myself I want to play at Bauhaus, Houston. You know, Maybe I never expressed it to anybody, but I did tell myself that. And the fact that I've done it now, it's like, okay, where's the next place I'm going to play at? Who knows? Maybe the Concourse Project next. But yeah, as far as the end goal, I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I've learned to realize that that's okay, because there's still a lot of other little things before I even get to the end that I want to accomplish.
And I think it's really manifesting is definitely a real thing.
Oh, for sure.
So, I've done it, and not so far in between that it does regularly come my way, but it really is a thing, and it really does happen. So I'm glad to hear that you have achieved that, and I think that when you have that want and are able to achieve it, that's really great. So kudos to you, and congratulations to that. But I'm going to change it up real quick. I'm
Okay.
going to do a quick little silly little questions, rapid fire round. I'm calling the quick mix. So, Brian Kadir,
I like
are
that.
you
That's clever.
ready for my quick mix?
Not at all, but let's do it.
Alrighty. Night owl or early bird?
Night owl.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introverted, actually.
I could tell. House or techno?
Oh, shit. I'm just going to have to say techno.
Cool. Let's go ahead and go to, okay, would you prefer to do the opening set or the closing set?
Opening.
Drink of choice during a set?
Tequila. All day, every day.
Love it. Same here. What is your spirit animal behind the deck?
A dog. Bitch, I'm a dog. Woof, woof, bark, bark.
And what's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay. Are you single or complicated or what's going on there?
Very single, and it's the holidays. So if anyone wants to be my holiday babe, let me know.
Look him up. Thank you so much, Brian Kadir, for the quick mix round. And those were great answers. Thank you so much. Where can our listeners find you? Give me your the bars that you're typically at if they want to go dance country or wherever, and give me your socials. Where can they find you?
Well, I post everything on Instagram, so that's going to be the easiest way. So at Brian Kadir, just the way it's spelled, no, little signs or numbers. It's just straight name. But yeah, I post everything on there as far as the bars that I'm playing at, the times. And if I ever record something, I always post it on there and attach a link to it that leads to my SoundCloud, which is another place people can listen to anything I post as far as music.
Awesome. Well, Brian Kadir, thank you so much for joining me on my episode of I'm Friends with the DJ. And everyone, go ahead and please follow him and look him up at Brian Kadir. And we'll catch you next time. It's me, your host, AJ the Silver Fox. And why am I friends with the DJ? Because life is more fun when you're friends with the DJ. Bye, guys.